David, we got the results back from our four votes for Trainer of the Year, Fighter of the Year, Fight of the Year, and Prospect of the Year. We have Ronnie Cantu coming on the show a little later to help us out with this as well, talk about it. David, let's go ahead and just start. Now, the first one we put out there was Trainer of the Year. We got Bomac with 40. Well, we had 32 votes. Let's say that first. We had 32 votes for Trainer of the Year, PYP Boxing, End of the Year Awards. Our first one. The people vote. The way we set it up is we get friends of the show who we think have good boxing knowledge like us, and we respect, and other people as well, right?
Not,
A
not
couple of
humble.
other,
Very humble
couple
there,
of
man.
other Los Tres Chingones. We had Cholo Trucker help us and David Contreras. Also, Daniela Perkins,
Shout
uh,
out to Daniela. Thank you, Daniela.
heavyweight
Danielle.
uh, contender Danielle Perkins helped us out. She knows a lot about boxing as well, and we respect her boxing knowledge as well. So 32 people voted for Trainer of the Year. Bomac wins PYP Trainer of the Year for 2023 with 44% of the vote. Shingo Inoue is second with 25%. Then we got J Panda Nahara with 19%, and Bill Haney last with 13%. My personal vote was Shingo Inoue. I think what he did with his kid was tremendous. It was record breaking and historic this year. What do you think, David? Who did you vote for?
I had the same. I thought Shingo was trainer of the year just because his fighter had the two biggest fights in their division, and he looked pretty awesome in both fights. And if you look just historically, Inoue has looked great in every fight. He's been in 21 world title fights. 19 of those ended in knockout. Inoue is always prepared. I'm all about Shingo for trainer of the year. And I don't think he
Yeah,
gets as much respect, right? You don't hear him being touted when you hear the names of great trainers in boxing. He doesn't get thrown in enough.
yeah. Obviously, Bomac had that big win with Crawford. That was a generational fight, so I
But I can
understand that.
understand Bomac too, right?
Yeah,
He trains several fighters. Like you don't hear about unless you follow Japanese boxing, you don't hear about the other fighters under Shingo. But
yeah,
because we're in America and we know Bomac's got his hands in several different fighter camps.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can understand Bomac.
He had several fights this year. I'm not mad at the pick. I did, vote Inoue. Next up, we had Fight of the Year. We had 30 votes for that. Derevinchenko versus Munguia was one. Bam Rodriguez versus Sonny Edwards was another. Katie Taylor versus Chantel Cameron, the second one. And the last one, Robesi Ramirez versus Divino Espinosa. I went ahead and voted for Katie Taylor, Chantel Cameron too. I think that was an excellent fight. I can't wait for them to finish up the trilogy. That was my pick. The winner here was Bam Rodriguez versus Sonny Edwards. That's surprising to me. I honestly thought Robesi Ramirez and Espinosa was going to win. I picked Katie Taylor and Cameron, not thinking they would win, but that was my favorite. Which one was your favorite out of these four, David?
The Derevianchenko Munguia fight. I thought that was a barn burner, man. It was an all-out brawl. When I think of fight of the year, Mark, I think of a fight that is one that I would watch again, and
Yeah,
so that's the fight that I would watch again because they were throwing putazos throughout that fight, and it was really close too. It's very competitive. You could say that Derevianchenko won that fight. I'm down with the Robesi and Espinosa. That'd probably be my runner-up. That was a great fight. Both fighters tasted the canvas in that one. You saw a lot of good boxing in that fight as well. I'm
yeah. That
surprised
was.
about Bam and Sonny.
I'm surprised that that one took the win because it was a knockout. It didn't go the whole distance and give you the drama of the whole fight. But
No, I thought it was one-sided. It was so one-sided after about round 3 or 4, that I wasn't very competitive. Sonny showed a lot of heart, but it wasn't competitive enough for me to be a try. But hey, man, people vote for what they vote for.
it is surprising to me as well, but it was a close one. It was close, 40% to 37%. I think that's our closest margin. Yeah. Prospect of the year was a fun one. We've been actually messing with this one all year long. The choices were Emiliano Vargas, Giovanni Marquez, Abdullah Mason, Richard Torres Jr. Emiliano Vargas took this one big time. 54. Half of the votes went to Emiliano Vargas. 85 people voted on this one.
It's our most popular vote.
Yeah.
Most popular poll.
I voted for Emiliano. I've been calling for Emiliano to be prospect of the year for a while, and the people voted. PYP prospect of the year 2023 is Emiliano Vargas. What do you think about that one, David? It was a landslide.
Yeah, it pretty much was. I thought Abdullah Mason did a little more this year, or at least more impressively. Emiliano is on his way. I think he needs another year before he outshines the rest of these prospects. I also like Shushu Carrington, who didn't make the vote. I thought Shushu was a shoe-in for prospect of the year, but Emiliano showed us a very promising career. I think he's going to be a guy to keep your eye on.
Okay, yeah. Ronnie, hang in there with us. We're going over our votes for PYP trainer, boxer of the year, fight of the year, and once we're done here, we're gonna go ahead and ask you what your opinion is on how our votes ended up. Our next one, fighter of the year 2023. This is the big one. We had 46 votes. Terrence Bud Crawford got 28%. Devin the Dream Haney got 11%. Emmanuel Navarrete had 9%. Naoe Monster Inoue got 52%, winning by a landslide. That is PYP Boxing Fighter of the Year. People have voted for 2023. Monster Inoue, I think they got it right. That's who I voted for. David, what do you think?
I called it the same. We were all aligned on that one. I just think he had the biggest year. He just had the biggest performances against the best fighters in his division. So you can't argue with that. I can understand Bud, but my only thing about Bud would be he only fought once this year. And the version of Spence that he beat didn't look full. I'm not making excuses. Bud did what he needed to do with what was in the ring with him, but I think we all knew that wasn't a fully right Earl in there. But credit to Bud for wiping him out and taking care of business. But he only fought once. That kind of hurts him in my eyes.
We had Emmanuel Navarrete in there as well. A lot of, some people thought he shouldn't have gotten there, but I think he deserved to be there, voted on as well, because he had some big time fights this year. I believe he got floored. Remember, he got floored early this year, got up, beat his opponent. Then he had it was a landslide, but the significance of the fight with Valdez. Then also he went and fought another huge fight. And I think that was a pretty damn good fight as well. Nobody mentioned that last fight with who was it? Conceicao. I mean, that one kind of got lost in the world hating on Shakur Stevens that night because he messed that fight up. But it kind of got lost in the news. But that was a hell of a fight, Manuel Navarrete. I know it was a draw, but
I think that's what hurt him. You got to draw, and you're talking about fighter of the year, man. You're up against the best of the best performances of the year. So that kind of hurt. That stung him a little bit.
Haney surprised me that he didn't get a lot of votes. Honestly, I thought it was going to be Haney or Navarrete, but Haney only got 11% of the vote. I thought he had two huge fights. He beat a legend. So I don't know. Ronnie,
not a lot of people agree with that, though.
Yeah. Ronnie, what do you think, man? I don't know if you did vote. What your vote have been, but it's a landslide. Inoue takes Fighter of the Year 2023 for PYP Boxing. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. the two fights that he had, and in the fashion that he won them, I can agree. I agree. You know, it was he dominated both fights, won in great fashion, undisputed 2 times, 2 weight classes. Nobody can argue that, and same for Bud. Even though it was one time, the fashion he did it in, you know what I mean. Whatever was up with Spence, we don't know. We had to assume that was, you know, kind of his best version in the ring, or you know, we're not sure exactly what happened, but you know, the fashion that Crawford did it in, you got to give him
Yeah,
the credit, got to give him the respect. Um, Haney, and I can see Haney and Navarrete kind of being at the bottom just because, I mean, that fight with Loma was kind of a toss up. So, you know, kind of hit or miss.
yeah.
But I mean, he demolished, outclassed Regis. And then again, that draw with Navarrete kind of puts them in the back.
Yeah, yeah. The way we did this, Ronnie, is we had some friends of the show help us out picking two of each category, and then that's how we got all these fighters. We're gonna go ahead, Ronnie, now that we got you here, and go back to the
Hold on, I
beginning.
got a question for Ronnie. Mark,
Mhm.
Ronnie, do you
Hmm.
think there was anybody that got left off of that list, or do you feel good with the choices that were there?
Um,
For fighter of the year, Ronnie.
for fight of the year, nah, I don't think so. Just because of the level that those guys are fighting at, I don't think anybody accomplished or did what those guys did.
Okay, good. So yeah, you were good with those choices. Okay, same thing, Ronnie. Give us the same thing. Are you good with the choices for trainer of the year, and also what you think? So we had 32 people vote for trainer of the year. The choices were Bomac, uh, Bill Haney, Shingo Inoue, and J Panda Nakira. Um, those were our four choices. Bomac won by 44%. This was a little bit closer. It was, there was a lot of votes for every single one. But what do you think about the winner, Bomac, and who would you have chosen? And also, do you like, the four choices? And is there anybody we left out in your opinion?
Yeah, no, I mean I can agree with Womack. Just again, he did a great job with Crawford on the Spence fight. I mean, I feel like maybe Inoue's Shingo Inoue should have more because I feel like Inoue was the fight of the year, so that should go kind of hand in hand. But I have no problem with it. They're all great at what they do, and I mean I can't argue with Womack being that top choice there.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Do you think they left anybody out?
Um, I mean, at the top
Anybody
of
you
my
can think
head,
of?
I don't believe so. You can't always sleep on Robert Garcia too. He has a lot of great fighters.
Yeah,
He has a great stable out there in California. A lot of
He's always in the contention, right?
Yeah, a lot of
For
my buddies, a lot of my guys I grew up with train out there doing well. Has Bam doing great. Um, yeah, so you
that's
can't.
right.
Really, yeah, I feel like maybe you could have put through Robert on there because of how Bam did this year. So
Yeah. Yeah. And now we had also another category. This is fight of the year. We had four choices. We had 30 people vote. We had the Derevyanchenko Jaime Munguia as a choice.
uh,
Bam Rodriguez, Sonny Edwards made it on there. Me and David were a little bit wondering why, but I mean, it made it. Katie Taylor, Chantel Cameron, the second fight. The first one was awesome too, but the second one, and then the Robesi Ramirez, Rafael Espinosa. Bam Rodriguez, Sonny Edwards won by 40%. It was really, really close. Um, 37% went to Robesi Ramirez versus Rafael Espinosa. And then you had the Katie Taylor, Chantel Chu, Dervin Checo, Jaime Munguia. How do you feel this one came out? What do you feel about it? Bam Rodriguez won with Sonny Edwards. Is that your vote for it? Also,
yeah,
did
I
we leave
definitely. I
anything out?
mean, Bam's my guy. But I feel like that fight was more one sided. Bam, I think Bam.
That's what we were thinking as well,
Yeah,
but
easy.
people
Yeah,
like it. The people voted, so
yeah, yeah. So I mean, you can't knock it. I'm not gonna knock that either because Bam's my
we're
guy.
in Texas, también.
I'm so happy
oh
for him.
yeah, that's a
I'm
good
so
point.
happy he's doing good. But man, the Robesi Ramirez and Espinosa was just back and forth. I mean, obviously put that they're right there neck and neck, but I feel like Bam demolished Sonny.
Yeah, we
Your
said the
choice.
same. It was pretty one sided, even though it was fun to watch, seeing Sonny bite down on
Yeah,
his mouthpiece and go at it in a very uncharacteristically of him. but there was a lot of fun moments in that fight, but it got one-sided after about round 4.
Yeah, I agree. It started
So
off
you
competitive, but then Bam took over.
and
So
you would have been Robesi Ramirez, Rafael Espinosa. That would have been your vote, or
Yes,
you would have been.
that would have been my, as far as competitive.
Yeah. Did you lose? Did we leave anybody off? Can you think of another fight that was a hell of a fight this year?
At the top of my head, not that I know of. Not that I know.
I,
I believe those. I mean, those are all good ones that are up there.
I wanted to add Haney Lomachenko, but
Yeah,
everybody was disappointed in it. Like people forget how good of a fight was it because they're
it
so
was a good
pissed
fight.
off.
It was a good fight.
yeah. No, I watched that fight like 3 times, and I got a different different score every time. I'm like,
Yeah,
it's
and I
close.
think people don't even mention it for fight of the year because of how mad a lot of people were. Man, people went crazy over that fight. My boy here, David, right here. Este
Yeah.
vato con man. He's
I
still not
mean,
over.
I had a problem with the decision, but I was just more arguing with you because you were like, yeah, I think so, but hey, the judges gave it to so and so, and I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah, because I honestly had Lomachenko winning as well, but I wasn't mad at the fight. Oh, you know what it was? I didn't think it was a robbery. I
Yeah,
you
Right.
thought it was a robbery.
I would never call close fights like that robberies because we
I
can't
applaud
be
you, sir. I applaud you.
that's just boxing. We've seen that numerous times. That fight could have gone either way. I
And
mean,
there
Yeah,
are
Loma
fights
would've
that were
won.
more worthy of a robbery name than that one.
yeah, if Loma would have won, it would have been a robbery from Haney. So it's
yeah.
But I did have it
Close fight.
wider. I don't know if it was. I think there were some rounds that were close that could have made it a closer fight. But I had Loma winning comfortably. If I'm not mistaken, I had 8-4 or something like that.
Yeah.
But 2 rounds, you switch 2 rounds around, and that that
They're
goes
all
back
close
in Haney's
rounds.
favor.
Yeah, that
They're all
was a
close
hell of a
rounds.
fight. I was a little disappointed it didn't make it to the last choice, but
But Ronnie, I got a question for you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
What do you think makes a fight of the year?
Competitiveness, action, a lot of punches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of punches.
I think rewatching it, right? Wanting
Yeah.
to want to watch that fight again too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
boxing is one
exactly.
of those sports where you can rewatch something that's already happened. You know the outcome, but you still watch it again anyway.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and watch it again. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So that one
Prospect
for
of the
me
year?
was that of Vianchenko and Munguia, man. That was a
Was
damn
that
brutal fight.
you picked that one over Robesi, David?
Yeah, well, I was kind of torn between those two. I really liked the Robesi Espinosa fight. That's another one that I went back and kind of watched over. But I think when you talk about action and putazos being thrown, Munguia Derevianchenko was just a little bit higher in terms of action. But
Okay, let's.
Robesi and Espinosa was definitely fun to watch too.
Well, prospect of the year, guys. Let's move on here. Prospect of the year 2023, Emiliano Vargas took it. 85 votes. That was like our biggest vote turnout. 85 votes for prospect of the year. Emiliano Vargas got it 54%. Giovanni Marquez had 5, being last. Abdullah Mason came in second with 27%. Richard Torres 14%. Ronnie, what say you, bud?
I feel like Abdullah Mason deserves a little bit more percentage, but I mean, I can't knock Emiliano Vargas. He has a lot of popularity. He's very talented, very skilled, very strong. So I can't knock that. He's a great fighter. But I mean, I know Abdullah Mason too. He's a beast too. So I can't knock those top 2.
This one was really tough to make the choices, right, David? Daniela had a really good guy at Houston. She named, what was his name?
Fulgham. He's out of Fulgham.
Fulgram, something like that. He's out of
He's
Houston.
a light heavyweight. He's a light heavyweight.
He had 5 fights this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were all pretty much blowouts.
Ronnie, anybody we left out that you may think of prospect of the year?
Not that I know of, not right now. That's kind of at the top of my head.
Your vote would have been Abdullah?
Yeah, that would have been my vote.
Same.
So that's it. Our awards are given. Inoue And Emiliano Vargas, prospect of the year. Fight of the year is Bam Rodriguez, the People's Folk. And Bomac is our trainer of the year.